Hey guys, it's Cara. It's a beautiful evening here and our chickens are getting pretty big. We have the chickens right here next to the house because we want them to eat ticks and fertilize our grass in the front yard as much as they can while they're here. These are our meat birds. They're a jumbo Cornish cross breed. We have males and females here. You can get them sexed and get one breed or the other, but we just got an unsexed mix. So you can see there's a little bit of varying size between the birds. The hens are definitely a little bit smaller than the males. This is our second year doing the Cornish cross meat birds, and we really like the flavor of the meat. Now, we haven't tried out different types of meat birds to see how the flavor compares to other breeds. We were happy with the jumbo Cornish cross meat birds last year, so we figured we would just do that again. They're all running over here because they know I'm about to feed them. We have them in just the electric poultry net by Premier One. This is a section they were in last week. We've been keeping 2 fences up to make it easy to move them, and also just to keep the dogs out of their poop while we move them on to the new section. This one right here has what's called scissored beak. Instead of its beak being right on top of itself, it has kind of a crossed beak. And I noticed it when it was a baby chick, and I honestly didn't think it would make it like that. It's also missing one eye, but it's still around and it's healthy, so I guess that didn't affect it getting the nutrients it needed. We've been moving their shelter at least once a day, sometimes twice a day as they're getting a little bigger here, just so that they're not killing the grass underneath the shelter, because they do kind of like to huddle under there in the hot part of the day. Ryan upgraded their waters so that they have 2 now instead of just 1. Last year we had just 1 water on the actual shawl and then an additional water on the ground, but we decided to do 2 this year with the water nipples on the shawl. So that's a new adjustment that he made to their setup here. These meat birds here are currently about 8 weeks old, and we are going to be butchering them here in a few days, maybe this coming weekend. So they won't be here for too much longer, but they'll still be here, just in our freezer. So even though the meat birds are leaving us, we'll still have our layer hens here. The little baby chicks are getting pretty big now. They're all currently hiding up in the house, but let me see if I can show you guys them. This is one of our fake eggs. It's moved out of the box. I already collected eggs earlier this morning. We do try to move the hens' coop about once a day since we don't have the electric poultry net up anymore for them to free range. We only have just those little guys in there now and the one hen and the one rooster. So we didn't want to risk them getting eaten by something else. If you missed that video, we had one of our hens eaten by a bald eagle when we let it out of the coop. So they're back in the safety of the mobile chicken coop now. But they still get moved every day to get some fresh grass. And we have lots of clover growing in our fields right now. So I'm sure they're loving that. In fact, they're already pecking away at the grass, eating the new grass. Ryan just moved them and they're already going to town. I'm thinking this yellow one might be a rooster. It's not focusing very well through the hardware cloth. Just let me go inside. I'm not a chicken expert by any means, but he does seem to be built a little bit thicker and he's got that comb starting on his head. So I'm pretty sure it's a rooster, but time will tell for certain. I'm not 100% sure what breed it is either. I thought it might be a salmon falvarella because it's got really fluffy legs, but if you guys know differently, let me know in the comments. So we've taken care of the meat birds for the evening and the layer hens, and now we're off to the guineas. We have our guineas out of the brooder box now into their own structure that Ryan built for them. He's been moving them around the yard in this structure just until they're full grown. Then we're going to try to free range them. Right now we're also working on training them to come to when we call and kind of giving them a call whenever we feed them or give them treats, to hopefully have them be able to come back to us once we do let them out to free range. This is our first time raising guineas though, so it's all new to us. This structure Ryan whipped together pretty quickly, so I'll let him tell you guys about it.
It's kind of like a chicken tractor. We just have guineas in it right now. So the goal is that it's movable. You can give whatever animals in it fresh grass every day or so. So pretty simple, just A-frame design, 6 foot wide, about 10 foot long. It's got a door on this side and then just fencing on the other side. So it's movable, it's on skids with this rope. So you can just pull on the rope and pull it fairly easily. You do have to be careful with the animals inside that you don't roll over top of them. So it has 8-inch wheels and that just gives you enough lift to be able to roll over whatever terrain you have. So we made it about 6 foot high at the peak here, and that just allows you to walk in it fairly comfortably with minor ducking. I think one thing I want to add is mounted water, or maybe a water that hangs from the ceiling if the roof is strong enough to hold it.
Another bonus, if we do add the water hanging from the ceiling, is that we'd probably make it like we have for the meat birds with water nipples at the bottom, which we both like that design a lot better. It doesn't get clogged up with grass or shavings or waste matter, and it just seems a lot neater and cleaner, and then you don't have to pull it out every time we move it too. It would always just stay hanging up. The guineas are all huddled back in the corner. Another thought we had when we made this shelter is that it could be a multi-use shelter in the future if we need it to be. We have some roost bars up right now, but those could easily be removed, and then we can maybe use this as a shelter for our lambs in the future, which we're thinking about getting lambs in the future, to give them some shelter as we move them around in electric poultry netting. That way they can get out of the rain and get some shade if they need to. And I like how Ryan made the A-frame door match the A-frame shape. We've made the joke before that any shelter we make on our property is gonna look like our house because we use leftover materials from our house build. That's why the mini chicken coop that we move around for the layer hens looks like our house. And that's also why this looks like our house, because we just had a bunch of leftover siding that we used for this project. Yeah, I will say I can't move this shelter. It's too heavy for me, especially right now being pregnant.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. I'll get my muscles on. The sunset's looking really pretty. I always think God shows off his handiwork when he makes a pretty sunset. No two are ever the same either. Well, I think I might sit on the front porch swings with Ryan and enjoy the rest of the sunset. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.